Hello, welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the recovery plug. What's happening, man? Hope you're doing good today, man. I know my day's going great. I am today. I guess I'm coming to you from. I'm at school today, so I figured I'd do the podcast here from the classroom since I was here a little early, and I didn't have time to go out and choose a background, if you will. That I like choosing different backgrounds to do my video podcast. But nonetheless, I'm here in a classroom setting, and let me. I'm sorry about that. Let me grab this. I'm gonna just show you where I'm at, just so you know. I'm here in my classroom, getting ready to, move a little forward in my journey of my IT cybersecurity path that I'm taking currently. So, at any rate, what I want to talk to you today about is something that it's part of the ongoing journey that I'm doing with my meditation and that sort of thing, and particularly the last book that I've been reading. I'm just about done with it. I'm just like a few pages being done from the page, and it's this book here, right here, and it's The Open Heart, Open Mind by Tsonk'ne Rinpoche, and with Eric Swanson, and this forward by Richard Gere. I showed you guys this in another video that I did, but this is a book here. But one of the things that all these meditated books that I've been, reading about, and mainly they're Taoism, Buddhism, and they all talk about what a sentient being is. And I want to talk to you about that. But before we get started, if you would please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers, and for those of us who are still in the struggle of those things that keep us bound down. So if you would, moment of silence, please. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. Okay, well, check this out. What I'm going to do is I pulled up something here on, it's called naturesheat.org, and I'm going to put these glasses on just to kind of, so that I can read what it is that it says here. And it says, sentient comes from the Latin sentient, feeling, and it describes things that are alive. A sentient being can feel, perceive, and sense things. They have an awareness of surrounding sensations, thoughts, and the abilities to show responsiveness. Having senses makes something sentient or able to smell, communicate, touch, see, or hear. All sentient beings have an awareness of themselves. They can feel happiness, sadness, pain, and fear. Whether or not plants and living things other than animals and human animals are sentient depends on whom you ask. In Buddhism, sentient begins in is a technical term, which broadly denotes beings with consciousness, sentience, or in some context of life itself. Sentient beings are composed of 5 aggregated matter: sensations, perceptions, mental formations, and consciousness. Some traditions define plants as sentient. However, Buddhist traditionally do not. Shamanic traditions holds quite a different viewpoint. And so overall, from the research that I did, and the books that I've been reading, and my own experiences, sentient is just this feeling, emotionally and mentally focused, and being aware of things that are happening in your life. You know what I mean? And in the things that you do, the things that you surround yourself with, and that sort of stuff. And when you get into this meditative state, and you start paying attention. That's the whole purpose of doing these meditative exercises that I sometimes share in my videos, especially like with breath work and stuff like that. And when you're paying attention to a certain sound, a certain breath, paying attention to how long you hold your breath through after each breath and that sort of thing, and just paying attention to things that you hear, whatever your focal point is, and that is a sentient being. You know what I mean? That's you're practicing being a sentient being, and it means you're being just practicing being aware of the things that you are involved in your life, things that you attract, things that you put yourself in, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be, you could be surfing through your phone, and you're being a sentient being by paying attention to the things that you're looking at, right? And being a sentient being can be practiced at any time of your life and anything that you do. So if you are doing things in your life, whether it's your relationship, whether it's work, whether it's school, or whether it's just being you every day on one of your days off or whatever, and you're just laxing around the house, or even playing a video game, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, watching a Netflix series, or whatever it is that you do, but if you do it by being centered, in other words, doing it by being mindful of the practices and the things that you do, you know what I mean? And when you start doing stuff like that, you'll find that your mental state and the way you perceive things, and the way you the type of energies perhaps that you bring to the table when you're experiencing whatever it is that you're doing, it seems to heighten the senses, if you will. You know what I mean? And I believe that that's an amazing capability to have, because when your senses are heightened, that means you're running on all cylinders. I mean, your mind is moving, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, and you're acting as a really, really good driver. You know what I mean? Because when you don't pay attention and you're just going through life doing these things, it's so easy to trip up. You know what I mean? It's so easy to keep indulging in eating this fast food, or drinking sodas, or watching porn, or just taking more drinks, or doing more drugs than you need to, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? When you over excessively do stuff, and we tend to do that in the Western world, here in the United States, we gorge on a lot of things. You know what I mean? We gorge on anything from food to rest to just whatever it is that consumes us. You know what I mean? And for a lot of us, we gorge on the phone. You know what I mean? We gorge on social media and going through TikToks and all these things, and a lot of it can be negative. You know what I mean? So being sentient, when you're going through the things that you do in your everyday life, it helps. It helps to navigate your life into this spiritual and positive way, and you'll be amazed that when you take time to be mindful of the things that you do and really appreciate them and dissect them for what they are, and it's obviously going to be a whole lot better if you're doing these things in positive and spiritual sense. Not if you're sitting there watching some satanic video, or something that's not good, like all the news with wars and all that. When you're putting that type of things, when you're feeding yourself that type of stuff, you're watching these videos of people fighting on YouTube or whatever, you know what I mean? All of those things are negative. And if you allow yourself to let those kind of things come into your thought process, well, then that's exactly where you're going to be going. And believe it or not, when you do stuff like that, your body tends to get into this flight or fight stress mode. You know what I mean? And then people wonder, well, why am I feeling so tense? Why am I, why do I have a headache? Or why is, they don't feel good or whatever? Well, it all starts with what you're putting in here. You know what I mean? So you got to be really centered in and really mindful of the things that you're doing on a daily basis. And I know it sounds kind of like it's who has time for that? But trust me, when you take the time to start enjoying and really if there's a really positive Netflix series or whatever that you're watching, you're like kind of think of, wow, somebody actually put this together. They put a lot of thought in this, and there's a lot of people behind the things that I'm watching, and you know you can go even deeper. It's like, wow, I'm watching this, I'm paying for my subscription, and that's allowing 100 people, whoever made this series, they're feeding their families or whatever, you know what I mean? And if you think about things like that, you'll be much appreciative of the things that you do, and you'll think about the next time you pick up your phone, or the next time you are driving down the street, and somebody cuts you off or whatever, and you're just like, well, perhaps you don't know what's going on in their mind, you know what I mean? And it's better just to um, you know let off the gas, let them go by, and you're good, you know what I mean? Don't let negative actions dictate how your day is going to go, and by being a sentient person and being a sentient being and being able to feel the pain and the joy and the frustrations and the emotional things that are good and bad, because ultimately we have to. That's life. You know what I mean? We go through things that are good, bad, turmoil, joy, whatever. But we go through all of those senses, and when you pay attention to them, it just I don't know. For me personally, things have just been. I feel better as a person. You know what I mean? I do, and I feel better, and it just when I do a video, I know that perhaps somebody's going to hear something that I say that's going to encourage them to do something good. You know what I mean? And it's just to me that makes me happy, and it makes me want to keep doing it, right? So, but what a lot of the people, I've read, I don't know how many books already on this type of subjects. I've read quite a few, and watched quite a few podcasts on people talking about those types of things, and it's just amazing at how from years, thousands of years back, the person did mention, how since ancient times or whatever, 3,000 years ago, back from when Jesus was there, Moses and Muhammad and all of these people, they were sending it. They paid attention. They were mindful of people's actions, the things that people did, and they, in a sense, took their pain and their suffering into themselves, and made it a commitment to say, you know what, I'm going to do things, whatever I do, I'm going to do it to help somebody else. Not only myself, but to help all sentient beings. You know what I mean? And ultimately, that is the whole purpose of doing this video podcast that I do, is to help as many people as I can, and to share things that I read, things that I learn, things that I go through, and things that I have gone through, and sharing the progression and sharing how it has helped me. and hopefully it possibly can help you. You know what I mean? And because what I want to get when I'm doing these videos is I want to be able to communicate with you. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, when I watch video podcasts, I'm assuming that that person who's on that screen and he's talking or she's talking, that they're talking to me, and we're having a one-on-one conversation, and we're interacting, and they're feeding me something that they have experienced and something that they know to be true. So, in turn, I would be doing myself and you guys a disservice if I wouldn't do the same thing. You know what I mean? So that's why I do the videos, and hope that someone else who has gone through drug addiction, alcoholism, PTSDs, childhood traumatic experiences, anger, sadness, depression, suicidal thoughts, all of those types of things, because I have personally gone through all those things and still continue to work on a lot of it. You know what I mean? So it's but it's an ongoing process. It's a lifestyle for me personally. You know what I mean? And this is just one of the things that is part of what I call my recovery arsenal. So it's great, you know what I mean? So at any rate, man, I just wanted to share that with you guys before my class started, and I get into this class for today. So thank you for watching, man. I really appreciate it. If you'd please give me a thumbs up, shoot me a comment, hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. And just know that when you do hit that subscribe button and share my channel, you'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSDs, childhood traumatic experiences, anger, depression, suicidal thoughts, all those things, because my friends, I have dealt with all of those things at one point in time in my life, and I'm living proof that you can move forward and have a beautiful life. And it's great. It's great to be on this side of spirituality and recovery and just positivity. So I guess until the next time on When the Smoke Clears, I am the Recovery Plug.